After my divorce, I moved back home with my 2 kids. My sister promised, "You'll always have family." But within a month, she started referring to us as extra baggage. At a barbecue, she laughed and said loudly, "Can't even keep a husband, now she's mooching off mom." My son heard it. I packed our things that night. When I left, she said, "You'll be back when reality hits." That was 2 years ago. Last week, she showed up at my job with a resume. 2 years ago, I walked away from everything. A house. A marriage. A life I thought was safe. All I had left was 2 kids, 3 suitcases, and a text message from my sister that said, "Come home. You'll always have family." That text felt like a lifeline at the time. My name is Amanda. I'm 37, divorced, and raising 2 kids on my own. When Rob, my ex-husband, told me he was just not happy anymore, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I stood there in the kitchen staring at the divorce papers while the dishwasher hummed in the background. He didn't even try to lie about the affair. Her name was Lacey. She worked in his office. She wore tight skirts and fake nails and somehow convinced my husband he was 25 again. I told him to go. I didn't beg. I just told him to leave the keys on the counter. Then I called Rachel. My big sister. She lived in Springfield, Missouri, the same town we both grew up in, but I hadn't been back to in over a decade. Rachel had always been the one who had her life together. Big house, nice husband, no kids by choice. She traveled. Went wine tasting. Hosted fancy dinners with cheese I couldn't pronounce. When I called her that night, my voice shook. I told her I had nowhere else to go. She said, "You'll always have family. Just come home. I've got you." I really believed her. I showed up the next week with my son Cody, 10, and my daughter Macy, 6. They were quiet in the back seat the entire drive. Cody didn't ask where we were going. Macy thought it was a vacation. Rachel met us at the door in yoga pants with a glass of wine in her hand. She hugged me hard and told the kids they could stay as long as they wanted. It started okay. The first week she made us dinner. Told us we could use her guest room and the pull-out couch. Her husband Mark even gave Cody a baseball glove. Mom stopped by every few days with groceries. It felt like things might be okay. That didn't last. Week 3, I noticed Rachel locking her bedroom door. She started leaving passive-aggressive notes on the fridge. "Please keep it down after 9 p.m. Remember to wash your dishes. Don't touch the thermostat." Then came the whispering. I'd walk into the room and she'd stop talking. One time I heard her tell Mark, "I feel like I'm running a daycare center." Then the worst night came. Rachel invited friends over for a backyard barbecue. She told me it'd be good for me to socialize. I said sure. I even made potato salad. I stayed out of the way while she played hostess, laughing and drinking sangria. I was near the patio table helping Mark flip burgers when I heard her voice. Clear. Loud. Drunk. She said, she can't even keep a husband, and now she's mooching off mom and me like some kind of stray. It's like we inherited a third kid. Someone laughed. Someone else said, "Ouch." But then it got quiet. Because Cody was standing right behind her. Holding a paper plate. Eyes blank. He didn't say anything. He just looked at her, then looked at me. That was all I needed. That night, I waited until the kids were asleep. I packed our bags again. Clothes, toothbrushes, Macy's stuffed bear. We left while Rachel and Mark were passed out on the couch. As I loaded the last bag into the trunk, Rachel stumbled outside in her robe. She didn't apologize. She didn't ask why I was leaving. She just said, "You'll be back when reality hits. You think you're strong, but you're not." I didn't even answer. I just drove. We stayed in a motel outside of Tulsa for 2 weeks. It was gross. but it was ours. I found a front desk job at a logistics company and took every shift I could. I worked nights too, freelance writing, call center jobs, whatever paid. We moved into a small apartment with peeling paint and noisy neighbors. But it was home. I got promoted after 6 months. Then again a year later. Now I'm the regional logistics coordinator for one of the biggest trucking companies in the area. I manage contracts, drivers, supply chains. I'm in charge of 15 people. And we're okay. Cody's in middle school. He joined the robotics team. Macy is learning to play piano. We have a beat-up sofa and a second-hand TV and a new sense of peace. No one sighs when Cody drops something. No one talks down to me. Then last week it happened. I was at work early, reviewing carrier bids, when Tanya, the front desk receptionist, called me. "Hey Amanda? There's a woman here dropping off her resume. She's applying for the new assistant role." I told her to send it up. I opened the manila envelope and felt the floor drop out. There it was. Rachel Bennett. My sister. She had no idea I worked here. No idea that I would be the one reviewing her resume. The one deciding if she got an interview. Apparently, Mark lost his job. Their house was gone. She'd been out of steady work for a year. And now, she was desperate. Desperate enough to walk into my building. That afternoon, I called her. She sounded surprised when she picked up. "Hello? Rachel. It's Amanda." Long silence. "Oh, hey. I didn't know you worked there." "I run the logistics division," I said flatly. "Oh." Her voice cracked. "Wow. You've come a long way." I let that sit for a second. "You know," I said, "you were right." She paused. "About what?" Reality hit. And I stood back up. I could hear her breathing through the phone. "Amanda. I know I was awful. I was just under a lot of pressure. Mark was drinking, my job was shaky, and I took it out on you. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. Too little. Too late." I smiled into the phone. "Well, HR will let you know if we want to schedule an interview." She sounded confused. "Wait, so, you're not just tossing my resume?" "Nope." I hung up. Because letting her twist in the wind? That was better than a slap. But the real revenge? It hadn't even started yet. Rachel showed up for the interview 2 days later. I had told Tanya to treat her like any other candidate. No special treatment. No heads up about me being her sister. I wanted Rachel to walk into that office cold. When she did, she looked different. Not bad, just not Rachel. Her hair was grown out, roots showing. Her nails were chipped. She wore a navy blue suit that was clearly a few years old. She held her purse like it might fall apart if she set it down too hard. When she saw me behind the desk, her eyes went wide. She blinked fast and forced a smile. "Oh. Hi. I didn't realize, I'm leading the interviews," I said. "Go ahead. Sit." She sat. Her hands were shaking just a little. I didn't smile. I didn't ask how she'd been. I just opened her file. "Rachel Bennett. You worked part-time at a real estate office before? What happened after that?" She cleared her throat. "The agency downsized. Then COVID hit, and things got tight. I did some remote admin work, but Mark was out of work and I cut her off." "This isn't about Mark." She looked at me like I'd slapped her. I kept going. "This job needs someone organized. Discreet. Good under pressure. It pays $55,000 a year, comes with full benefits, and reports directly to me." She nodded. "I can do it. I really need this, Mandy." "Mandy doesn't work here." Her lips pressed into a line. Amanda. Sorry. I stared at her for a long moment. Then said, you'll hear from us by Monday. When she left, Tanya leaned in the door and raised her eyebrows. That went weird. I didn't say anything. I let Rachel sweat all weekend. On Monday morning, I made my decision. I told HR to hire her. And I made sure she knew, on her first day, who was in charge. She showed up with a new notebook and cheap coffee from a gas station. She tried to smile like nothing had happened between us. But I didn't make it easy. Every client file comes to me before it goes anywhere else, I told her. You book my meetings, take my notes, and if you miss a deadline, you answer for it. Got it? She nodded. Yes, Amanda. She did her job. But I gave her the hardest tasks. Scheduled back-to-back meetings. Left her off the group lunches. When she brought ideas to the table, I ignored them. When she tried to talk to me casually, I shut it down. I wasn't cruel. I was cold. Because cold sticks longer than rage. But here's where things started turning. 2 weeks in, Mark showed up at the office. He wasn't there for Rachel. He was there to apply for a warehouse manager job. Tanya texted me from the front desk, "You're not gonna believe who just walked in." I didn't come out right away. I waited. Let him sit in the lobby with his crumpled resume and thinning hair and sweat-stained polo shirt. When I did walk out, he stood up and grinned like we were old friends. "Hey, Amanda." "Wow, small world, huh?" I looked at him and said, "You're applying for the warehouse role?" Yeah. I've done distribution stuff before. Could really use something steady." I didn't answer. I just walked away. Later that day, I told HR we wouldn't be hiring Mark. Rachel cornered me after hours. "You blocked him, didn't you?" I didn't flinch. "I don't owe him anything." She looked furious. "This is personal." "No," I said. "This is professional. He's not qualified. You're punishing him because of me." I didn't respond. She stepped closer. "How long are you going to drag this out?" I finally looked her in the eye. "You called my children baggage. You made my son feel worthless. You laughed at my life falling apart." She didn't have a comeback for that. I walked away. But I knew this wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Because Rachel? She doesn't lose easy. And I could feel something building behind that fake smile of hers. I started noticing little things. Client notes went missing. Meeting invites weren't sent. One of our top drivers showed up for a shipment a full day early because Rachel had accidentally mixed up the calendar. The first time it happened, I chalked it up to nerves. New job, new systems. But then it kept happening. And the thing is, Rachel was smart. Too smart to keep screwing up the same way over and over. I knew it wasn't carelessness. It was sabotage. She wasn't trying to do the job. She was trying to make me look like I couldn't do mine. I waited. I didn't confront her. I documented every mistake. Every change she made without approval. I kept copies of emails. I started CCing myself on everything she touched. Then one morning, my regional director, Caleb, called me into his office. He didn't waste time. "Amanda, are you overwhelmed?" I blinked. "What?" "There've been some inconsistencies. A few clients have said you've missed calls. Deadlines. Things you usually never miss." I felt my jaw tighten. "Where's this coming from?" He looked at his screen. "Just patterns." "I'm asking because I need to know if you're okay." I didn't answer. Because I suddenly realized what Rachel was doing. She wasn't just sabotaging small things, she was planting seeds in people's minds. Making it look like I was slipping. And it was working. I left Caleb's office and sat at my desk, heart pounding. Rachel walked in 10 minutes later with coffee in each hand. "Hey," she said. "You looked tense earlier. Thought you could use some caffeine." She set the cup down like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't just gone after my job behind my back. I didn't touch the coffee. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "I know what you're doing." She blinked. "What do you mean?" "I know you've been feeding bad information to clients. I know about the meeting invites you forgot to send. I know you're trying to make me look unstable." She looked at the floor, then back at me. Then she laughed. It wasn't loud. It was quiet. Cold. "You're paranoid," she said. "Maybe you are slipping." That's when I knew. This wasn't just payback for not giving Mark the job. This was her trying to replace me. I kept my voice steady. "You really think you can undo what I built?" She stepped closer. "You think you're untouchable because you climbed out of a motel and got a fancy title? Newsflash, Amanda, you were always the charity case. I let you in. I gave you a place. And all you ever did was take." I didn't blink. I just said, "You'll regret this." She smiled and walked out. But I wasn't scared. Because I wasn't done yet. After that, I stopped warning her. I let her keep digging her own grave. I set traps. Little ones at first. I asked her to double-check schedules I already knew were correct. I gave her fake deadlines, copied fake client notes, sent dummy files I knew she'd accidentally forward to the wrong people. And she did. Every single time. She got sloppier, cockier. She started going to other managers behind my back. I found out she told HR I was showing signs of emotional instability, said I sometimes seemed disoriented or forgot things. She even told Tanya she was worried about me. What she didn't know. I was meeting with the company's internal audit team. I gave them everything. Emails. Logs. Call recordings. Even CCTV from the break room where she accidentally shredded a set of dispatch schedules. It took a week. Then came the meeting. HR called her in. She walked past my desk, smirking. 5 minutes later, they called me in too. She was already sitting there, playing innocent. HR started soft. "Rachel, Amanda has raised serious concerns about workplace sabotage. We've reviewed the documentation." Rachel opened her mouth, ready to cry, twist the story. But HR wasn't done. "We've confirmed changes made to internal systems using your login. Calendar edits. Client records. Email deletions." Rachel's mouth fell open. She looked at me. "You set me up." I didn't flinch. HR kept going. "We also found a recorded call where you referred to Amanda as an unstable, post-divorce mess who doesn't deserve her position. That was sent to a client." Her face went red. Then white. I didn't mean, you're terminated, effective immediately." She stood up, eyes glassy. "This is insane. She's punishing me. She's always been jealous, she's just mad I told the truth." I looked at her and said, calmly, "No. I'm just better at playing the long game." She stormed out. But it wasn't over. Not for her. 2 weeks later, I found out she and Mark had split. Turns out, while she was busy trying to ruin me, Mark was talking to an old coworker. One he used to have a thing with. Rachel came home one night and found all his stuff gone. She sent me a text that night. Just 3 words, "Are you happy?" I stared at it. Then I replied, "No. But I'm free." And I meant it. Because for years, I thought I was the broken one. The one who needed help. The one who had to crawl back and beg for space. But I wasn't. I was just early in my fight. And now? Now I own the battlefield. My kids are safe. My job is solid. My peace is real. Rachel? She can sit in the mess she made. Just like she told me, reality hits. Only this time it hit her harder. And I didn't lift a finger to help. Because revenge doesn't always come with fire. Sometimes it walks in the door holding a resume, and walks out with nothing.